You know, there are so many mechanics in Apex, and it can be a bit daunting when you look to improve your game. What's going on, guys? This is your motivation guy, Keith Allen. All right, don't worry, because today we're going to take a deep dive on the mechanics that you need to know to level up your game and exactly what you need to do to master them quickly. All right, we got a ton to talk about today, so let's get this going. All right, guys, so first up, we've got to make sure that we're being honest with ourselves, that we have a lot to improve on. You know, even top 10 Apex Predator players mess up their mechanics or just misclick sometimes. But, you know, they have put such an in-depth focus on every aspect of their mechanics that they almost never mess up. You know, this consistency is what you're looking to improve when you're breaking down your mechanics. You know, is there a specific movement technique that you aren't comfortable with? Do you struggle with tracking players at long ranges in certain fights? Or maybe you aren't very good at hitting your nades. You know, no matter where your weaknesses are, guys, you know, being honest with yourself and then breaking down those sections of your game into manageable pieces that you can focus and improve on is so key to becoming the best player that you can be. And if you're having a hard time pinpointing exactly where your mechanics are falling short, don't worry. Just follow along with me here today because we're gonna go over a ton of awesome mechanics and easy ways of integrating them into your game. So the process for each of these mechanics we're going to touch on today should start in the firing range. You know, you got to practice these things in an environment that allows you to analyze your mistakes and really get the fundamentals of each down. And there is no better place in the firing range for just that. Okay, so after you are confident with each of these aspects of your mechanics, take them into your pub games and really put a focus on one or two things that you want to improve on. Going into rank with these newly mastered mechanics is the dream, right? But the thing is this, man, like most players don't put the work in ahead of time, and if you do, then you're gonna be exploiting holes in their game left and right. But before we can even get into any of that, like we've got to get these complicated mechanics into digestible pieces that we can focus on. All right, guys, so before we go into moving into some more complicated mechanics, I'm excited that we have a special announcement from a man that has mastered them all, the CEO of Apex Legends, Imperial Hal.
Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Imperial Hal and welcome to my brand new Apex class. This class goes over everything you need to move, shoot, and think like me. Whether you're silver or diamond, controller or keyboard, you're going to be the one carrying your friends. I typically can't get to all your comments, but this course is actually going to help you guys so much in all your questions. If you're serious about becoming a better Apex player, join me for the next 30 days and commit to improving.
All right, so where better to start than with your own movement? You know, as we all know, Apex Legends has some pretty insane movement that can be pulled off if you got the skill. You know, it can be daunting to see all the movement options from B-hopping to wall bouncing. So many players find a few key maneuvers that they like and just stick with them, never fully grasping the potential that their movement has. And so you want to be comfortable enough with every mechanical option you have in the game so that you can just pull them out of your pocket in high-stress situations to help you get out ahead. You know, the easiest way to do this is to break these movements down to their core and figure out easy ways to master them. For example, nearly every aspect of movement in the game will stem from a simple slide jump. You know, while it's the most simple movement, and most of us feel like we've got it down, you would be surprised with how many players fail at more advanced movement techniques just because they're messing up their slide jumps. You know, just a quick recap. All right, every slide jump should be performed when you're at a maximum sprint speed. If you try to slide before hitting this max speed, you can just often get a dead slide, or you simply won't get the momentum increase that you were looking for. You can use hills or ledges to sort of cheese this, giving you a quick speed increase, and it can often make up for you not reaching max sprint speed. So this is the first place that you should look when mastering the advanced movement, as it is at the core of almost all of it. So bunny hopping is the most natural extension of the slide jump, allowing you to extend the slide jump momentum by hopping instantly as you hit the ground. For you M&K players out there, just make sure to have scroll up or down map to jump, as it definitely makes this a whole lot easier. But all you're doing is just timing a jump every time you hit the ground. And so once you have this down, guys, you want to add some slow strafes back and forth, making sure that you're also looking in whatever direction you're facing. This added strafe is the true way to get a good B-hop because, you know, it just helps you to carry your momentum even further. You don't have to be able to do this forever at the start, but, you know, make sure to practice this one a lot, putting a huge focus on your slide jumps and your jump timing when hitting the ground being perfect. If you get these two simple aspects of B-hopping down, it's going to be a breeze. All right, guys, so back into our mechanics. Let's touch on some wall bouncing. All right, so similar to B-hopping, wall bouncing also stems from a good slide jump. However, here, you want to be slide jumping into a flat surface and timing a jump right as you hit the wall. You know, it's a similar concept to the B-hop timing. But instead of just jumping when you hit the ground, do so when you hit the wall. Just make sure you come at the wall from about a 45-degree angle and time your slide jump so you aren't hitting the wall until you're at the maximum momentum, but before you are on your way down to the ground. You also want to make sure that you aren't trying to move forward at all during contact with the wall either. So make sure that you release W or let go of your left stick right before you make contact and input jump. Also, don't hold jump, just tap it. You can get stuck grabbing the wall instead, and that's not what we're looking for. Once you bounce off, you can add in all kinds of movement and go shooting off in just about any direction you want. It's even noticed for getting over walls fast if you quickly just go back to inputting forward on your controller or keyboard. While looking over the wall, you could do a quick little bounce hop over it, which can be super helpful. So there are a couple other movement techniques like tap strafing or super gliding that we aren't going to touch on here in this video, but if you want every single movement technique in the game, go check out our Season 10 movement guide for literally every movement option that's possible in Apex. However, the movement techniques that we've talked about so far are at the core of nearly every situation in Apex, and each needs to be mastered if you want to become a top player. But there is so much more for you to know than just movement options. It's pretty hard to win any fight without pretty good aim. But there are some aspects of your aim mechanics that you can really hone in on to have you hitting way more shots. In Apex, there are generally two types of weapons: flick weapons and tracking weapons. Semi-automatic like the wingman or longbow. Shotguns are flick weapons performing best when you quickly flick your reticle back into your target between shots. Alternatively, automatic weapons like the assault rifles and SMGs need a constant spray of bullets to really deal good damage, so they require a lot of tracking of enemies' movement to be successful. This is a fundamental understanding of the weapons that you need to know if you want to improve your aim. Regardless of if you're a mouse and keyboard or a controller, understanding the style with these weapons and adapting how you use them will not only increase your aim, but also help you to incorporate every other aspect of your game into your fights between your aim. All that movement we just talked about doesn't mean much if you can't hit your shots. And knowing the mechanics of each weapon and its strength is going to help you use your movement to really put you into a position for your aim to be successful. So many players don't have a true feel for each weapon, so when they push an enemy or start strafing or crouching to avoid damage, they're just going to straight up miss their shots. This is where the practice comes in, guys. So set yourself up with some drills for each of these weapon types and practice using them while you're still staying mobile. Figuring out the exact timing of a peacekeeper shot and working in movement in between each shot. How much movement can you squeeze in before that shot is ready? Are you trying to move around too much and missing out on windows where you could be shooting again and outputting more damage? Or maybe you're just standing there between shots, spamming firing again until it's just ready to shoot because you aren't sure when it's coming back online after the first shot. These are the considerations you need to make with each of these semi-auto weapons, and use those downtime windows between their shots to work in movement, but also making sure that you can hit every shot as soon as each shot becomes available again. As for automatic weapons, it's just much more about snapping out of movement deliberately and tracking your target. Practice slide challenging the dummies, snapping into them and one clipping them. Then do the same with the moving targets in the back of the range. With these weapons especially, just try to avoid practicing with the stabilizer on, and don't handicap yourself by burst firing too much. When you're practicing, you should be trying to full auto targets and hit your shots strictly because you're just trying to control your recoil, not lowering the fire rate. And get creative with your drills and don't give yourself any handicaps when practicing. Your goal is to get better. So don't go loading your gun up with the best attachments and then patting yourself on the back when you can just one clip a dummy. Instead, make it hard for yourself and give yourself a big pat on the back when you push through that barrier. Some more combat mechanics that you really want to make sure are nice and tight are your ability and nade usage. Whatever legend you're playing, you've got to make sure that you're comfortable with their abilities and can land them if they require you to. Legends like Fuse, Bangalore, and Valkyrie all have offensive abilities that really should be practiced to really make sure that you're always able to land them. Being lethal with every tool the game gives you will make your matches so much smoother, guys. So make sure that you get into the firing range and just practice. Use all your abilities from different ranges and just make sure you know exactly what you can hit. Even legends like Pathfinder or Ray, who don't damage their opponents, have a lot of animations or timings that can really take some getting used to. Take the time to work out all those kinks in the range and figure out what time windows you can fit each ability into and when you can't. Just like the talk we had about weapons with lower fire rates, some of these abilities have long animations like Rake's Tactical that can get you into trouble if you aren't really used to it. Alright guys, so it wouldn't be a mechanics video if we didn't talk about one of the most dangerous things in the game in the right hands: grenades. A well-placed Skynade or an Arcstar stick can literally win you entire fights. If you take the time to master using each type of nade, you become so scary. If you master Sky Nades and R-Star sticks specifically, you're gonna be so much more lethal in-game. As always, use the practice dummies for this, right? Like for Sky Nades, load up on frags and practice just chucking them into the sky and landing them on the dummies' heads. You want them to be blowing up right as they get to the target, not leaving any time for them to react. Once you get this down at one range, move around. Try really long ranges, try close ranges. The goal here is to get completely comfortable with the nade trajectory so you can hit your nades from any angle. Same idea goes for sticking people with arc stars. Like the dummy stand still, so you should be able to really hit them pretty consistently. Once you've got that down, throw down an octane pad and practice bouncing around and trying to hit your ordinances. Again, practice is what you make of it, so make it difficult. All right, guys, so with each of these mechanics, once you feel like you've got them down and are feeling good about your ability to consistently b-hop or maybe hit Sky Nades, go into pubs and put it to the test. Put a focus on practicing the things that you're looking to work on. Even if you're jeopardizing your game a little bit while you learn, don't worry. Like, you have nothing to lose for getting knocked out of a pub, and this live practice time is the most valuable part of the process. Your goal is to make every mechanic in the game feel comfortable enough for you that it's second nature to use in a game. If you have to think about the Sky Nade that you want to hit and spend 5 seconds lining it up, there's a good chance it hurts you more than it helps. But once you're comfortable enough to snap up, chuck that thing, and get in position to capitalize on its damage, that's when you truly are mastering your mechanics. All right, guys, so let us know in the comments what aspect of your mechanics you have been working on, and maybe some tips for everyone else on how you manage to improve. If you guys liked the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Once again, this is your motivation guy, Keith Allen. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.